2025 meeting of Barrington Board. We do a roll that Marcus Catkin, all member will be a full. At the roll call.
Catkin here.
Jesse here.
Alan present. Driscoll here. With this is town planner, Creveling. Administrative assistant. Next order is item number 3, reviewing minutes.
I make a motion we accept the June 3rd meeting minutes as written.
I'll second that.
Roll call.
Catkin, aye.
Jesse, aye.
Alan, aye.
And also we have the June 10th, 2025 minutes.
Second.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Catkin, aye.
Jesse, aye.
Alan, aye.
Good. Staff updates featuring our Okay, thank you. Item number 5, action items. Starting with application 250-79-RC-25SR, change of use. Request by the applicant, Eric Michaud, filtration for minor site plan. For change of use with waivers, existing commercial building on a 6-acre lot, regional commercial zone district, location at 50 Carmel. Welcome.
Thank you. My name is Eric Michaud with Filtration. Looking at that property at 50 Commerce Way, but before we get into that, I'll introduce myself and our company and some of our background. My background is in mechanical engineering, and I was formerly with another company that did very similar manufacturing. We manufacture a piece of equipment called the filter press. And we also, on top of that, is a filter cloth. So we do all the in-house manufacturing currently in Somersworth, New Hampshire. I started Filtration in October 2020, kind of throughout COVID. So throughout that time, I was buying and reselling product, and then in order to get on site, I would do redressing. So redress is a filter press. If you guys aren't familiar with, it's a large vessel that consists of polypropylene filter plates. On top of the filter plate is a filter cloth. So what we do, we separate a liquid from a solid on an industrial scale. So if you got, the way I kind of describe it is if you guys drink coffee, right, you put a new filter in every day, you put the grinds in, what you get is your coffee, and then the grinds we call as cake, and you throw it out. So in these applications, what our customers do throughout the US, Canada, Mexico, and in Latin America is their product will either be the cake, where they'll produce it back in their process, or the filtrate will be either clean water that'll go back to city, or they'll reuse it in their application. So throughout that time, I got a small office in a warehouse in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. So shared space, little office, little warehouse. And then from that point, we needed to begin manufacturing, because that was kind of our background. And we found Somersworth to be our a place where we can get in quickly and grow. So inside Tri-City Road, where we're currently located, is the old AT&T building. And the owners took that building, cut it up into like 20 different spots. So in that, we have 3 different spots. So we total a little over 9,000 square feet now. And I've been continuously looking at ways, as we grow, we need more space, and we're running out. And this piece of property popped up, and I immediately had to take a look at it. The footprint really worked out well for us. It's a large facility where we can grow into it. It's got loading docks, and it's fairly wide open. That's what we liked. And so that's why I'm here today saying, okay, I want to take the next steps. I'd like to purchase the building And one of the first things that we really need to do right off the bat is fire sprinkler. And I'm currently working with Hiller Fire as the engineering to start develop this project for us. So we have a fairly good scope, and I'm working with Reiki Construction to kind of pull it all together. And that's kind of like our initial, as soon as we are able to get in the building, we need to put a sprinkler system in. That's kind of step one. And other documents in here is, parking that Ernie and I kind of worked with and some of the other people. And what I'd like to propose is with the existing current layout, and, gravel and existing parking is to utilize that for now. But as a new company and as we're growing, we want to grow into the facility and upgrade it. So other upgrades would include, the external parking we want to do. Internally, we're going to be doing, lighting and things of that nature. But for right now, we're asking to get in the building, get the permit situated for the fire, and allow us to begin our manufacturing. And at that point, we'd like to continue to work with the town of Barrington to develop and grow this property and kind of bring it up where it needs to be.
Questions?
The only question I think that I have is, are you remanning the filters themselves there, so they come to you as spent filters, the frames, and then you strip them off and then apply new filter media?
Because we're a direct manufacturer, we purchase our roll good materials and we source it all over the world. And the way we manufacture our textile product called the filter cloth is in rolls, it gets behind lasers, and then it gets cut on a drawing, right? And then we have several bill of materials. So whatever we manufacture in-house gets manufactured and shipped out. We don't deal with anything like related to dirty or any type of slurries or anything like that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any more questions?
I have a question.
Okay.
Kind of a concern, actually. We have drawings that I guess are, thanks to you, Chris, but they don't indicate the correct number of parking on there. Or you calculated the parking requirements, and they needed, depending on the category, they needed 36, and then warehousing another 15 or something like that. But the drawings don't show the required number of parking spots. So, when we're approving something, we got to approve what you submit, and the number of parking spaces required are not on these drawings. And so that's kind of a problem. I mean, you have to show compliance with the regulations. Whether you, go ahead,
Finish up and I'll let the town planner comment.
okay.
Yeah, if you take a look at it, there are 11 striped or marked
I
spots.
agree with that. Yeah.
Yep, and then it says 30 over in the other gravel parking area, right in front of that spot. You see the existing gravel parking area.
Right over here.
This side.
But
Here and down the side.
right here down the side. Okay.
Oh, over there too? Oh, okay, so you got parking on either side. All right.
But it's not lined and indicated. It's just.
It's gravel. Yeah, you can't
But I
spread
mean,
gravel.
at least you should put on paper. I can get the number of required spaces. You know what I mean?
Well, part of their waiver request is to use this old drawing from 2013, which was acceptable. And so I guess if you don't want to give them the waiver, then they'd have to get a new plan.
I mean, I think we need to. There needs to be demonstrated that the required number of parking spaces can be located on the site. So
We could make that part of the notice of decision.
yeah, I'm okay with that.
That might solve that problem, I hope for you. Beg your pardon?
Approved plan,
Yeah, it's currently an approved plan, but
and he's using the same information.
it's just a change of use, so.
Yeah, but you got to meet the current standards. If you
Okay.
It's like the building code. If you come on, you're doing it today, you gotta meet building code. Number of parking spaces, he needs to have that number of parking spaces. It should be
What was the
indicated.
total that you got, if you total everything up?
Ernie had 36 or,
It's 50 is 36 in the main one and then 15 for warehousing. Is
Yeah.
that correct?
I don't think, you're not doing anything, in addition to, right? You're just light manufacturing, and you were talking about future tenants, the other uses, correct?
Yeah, absolutely correct. Yep.
The old tenant had over 100 employees, so they guess they had sufficient parking.
Well, they also,
you can say
they
that.
also had the lot next door to it and they would park over in there. I'm familiar with this property.
Oh, okay.
But my point is, John, it's not for us to figure, oh yeah, you can put a number of spots. It
Right.
should be demonstrated, and it's not demonstrated.
Okay.
And I think that demonstration has to be made.
And it wasn't 100 at one time. They were a multi-shift operation.
Oh, okay.
So I just think this needs to be updated to show the number of parking spaces. And then, you know what I'm gonna say, if you get parking space, you could have lighting. So, I mean, I'm willing to be flexible in the lighting, but, you know, if you have sublet down the road and somebody trips and falls in the parking lot because there's insufficient lighting, they're likely to get sued. They may even sue us because we approved a plan that didn't meet town standards for lighting.
No, Ron, I completely agree with you. I guess, based on my waivers, we're just trying to get in the building, okay? And I know that these improvements need to be made. And this will not be the last time you see me, because that building needs to be upgraded, and I get that. The waiver was just put there as, you know, based on an approved drawing, just to allow us to get in. We currently have, you know, 11 employees, right? 2 of them work remote. So parking right now wouldn't be an issue. It's just we need to allow us to get in and then, you know, sit back down with Chris, look at some other drawings that he did, make some updates and recommendations, which would include lighting, and then a full redesign of the parking.
I think I'm okay with conditions where you can phase it in over time, but I think the number of parking spaces that you demonstrate that you have enough, I think that, I don't, Chris, doesn't seem like a big deal to put parking spaces on there, right?
You're happy to do that as a condition of approval, we certainly provide.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
that'd be fine.
Great.
I mean, by the sounds of it, you haven't actually purchased it at this point. I'm assuming you have some sort of contract or agreement in place on it. So obviously you wouldn't want to go have a whole plan done up for something that if we couldn't get it through, wouldn't happen that way, which is why I think if you're gonna at minimum, if you're really insisting on it, it's gotta be a condition of approval upon him being able to act successfully.
He
close
can't do
on the
anything
sale.
now since he doesn't have access.
Correct. Thank you.
Yeah, then I see conditions here, you're gonna sprinkle, I think that should be one of the conditions. Do you have any state permits? Do you need any state permits, things like that?
For sprinkling?
Air emissions, you know,
Nothing
water
like that.
discharges?
Nope.
Do you have any of those now?
Nope.
Okay.
So we'll add 2 things, the sprinkling to the notice of decision and the additional parking that's required.
Now, probably need to work with him, if there's gonna be phasing of the,
Right.
it's like,
Yep.
that needs to be defined as well. So if you're gonna say, we'll do, you know, this number of parking, we have this many employees, or what, you know, some plan, it's gotta be defined.
So just put, you're gonna phase with the.
What do you recommend for like
applicants
phasing?
on how to do.
Sure.
It can be time, it can be when I reach this number of employees,
Okay.
you know, it's up to you, but you need to have some kind, it can't be wide open where I
Agreed.
showed them on paper, but I'm never gonna do them because I have no milestones to meet. You gotta define the milestones and say, when I do this, I will put in this number of parking spaces, or in a year, I'll put the parking spaces in. And I'm
That'd be
not
great.
locked into what the milestones are, but there has to be something defined.
I agree to that.
Okay, Ernie?
Sure, Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to point out that in the general and subsequent conditions that we put on the draft conditions of approval, it says that a certificate of occupancy must be issued by the town of Barrington building inspector / zoning administrator. That's prior to them even getting into the building. And then second, is any changes to the site or any additional uses in addition to weed filtration will be subject to review and approval by the Barrington
That was the one that was in your place, so.
And I'm assuming Jamie would be performing an inspection to make sure it's all compliant with fire code and everything else as it gets gets.
Well, maybe the fire chief. I mean, if you got combustibles, you have any combustibles or flammables on site?
No, nothing like that.
Yeah, but this fire chief still go through and,
Yep.
I mean, check the sprinklers and see if there's any other issues of concern.
I mean, there's a litany of them between lighting, exit lighting, aisleways, pathways.
Yeah, I mean, some of those are safety, your health and safety, and some of those are.
It's a life safety, NFPA 101.
Do you want to read the waiver request? Do you have that information?
Let's see here.
The,
No, I don't have them with me.
all right. Get you a set. Four waivers we're talking about.
Okay, thank you.
So we got to do each one. Read it. I'll read the justification. You don't have that, right? Four-step justification. Oh, it is on the bottom, okay. Oh,
We don't have to do the one for parking now,
no, you have to do these. These four steps.
making it a condition.
Yeah, I'll read the four steps after.
You know, I still don't think I
Yeah,
have
that's
a
fine.
waiver page.
Then we have to open it to public comment, close public comment, board direction, and then a motion to grant the waiver. We have to do it for each one, so.
So that is- Oh, actually, I should do-
Yeah, right. Get all the, he's listed on the front here, engineering done by Chris Perry. But that must be the old plan, right?
Oh, maybe I can do it here. I don't know how to get that. Hmm.
When I get done. I have no clue. I don't want to unmute. I do not know